Hi, my name is Pierre Shum. Today we present our paper, VR Calligraphy, Transposing Chinese calligraphy as choreographed movements into whole body performances in VR. A quick background for myself. This is part of my PhD research at the City University of Hong Kong, School of Creative Media. I'm also trained in architectural design with an MA from the Royal College of Art and has experience in this field in London, Beijing, and Hong Kong. So it's great to follow from the previous talk where we talk about architectural experience and spatial experiences, because that is the practice that I'm working in. Chinese calligraphy is a core philosophy of Chinese culture, as recognized by UNESCO in 2009. And on the representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Here we have Master Law Qing Bo, a Hong Kong-based calligrapher who is a collaborator of this research. Chinese calligraphy is a traditional art that has remained largely unchanged within its media for around 1,000 years. This research seeks to experiment with the possible evolutions of this art in the digital age. And it's great to follow from the previous talk where we talked about the body. And this paper is situated within the larger framework of research as part of the study on the theme of body calligraphy, 体书, which comprises of three notions of the body: shanti, the human body; 立体, volumetric body, as three-dimensional calligraphy does not yet really exist outside of a few individual sculptures in the field; and lastly, 体质, questions on the material body of the medium. We will be investigating today's subject from a balanced viewpoint, both from an artistic stance, also from a technical perspective. This paper is divided into three parts. First, searching within Chinese tradition to find the essences of calligraphy, to transfer into a digital version. Here, we have the character for Shu, derived from the word shufa, meaning calligraphy, and it's written by Master Law, who you previously saw in the photo. It visually represents the energetic flow of ink, whilst keeping an upright and balanced structural harmony. Calligraphy can be viewed as a summative expression of spiritual, intellectual, cultural, artistic, and emotional energies. This complex could be referenced as Geist, spirit in the West, and represented by Yi, intent in Chinese. There is a rich philosophical side to this discourse of Tao, of contemporary Chinese art, and so on. And because of the time limit, we will not discuss it here today. But within our experiments, our aim is to continue this pursuit of Geist, or Yi, or the spirit of Chinese art, as an evolution through the altered and well-developed utilization of new digital tools. The intent is to evolve the tools and media of calligraphy, melding its material-based phenomenology together with its philosophical duality to retain its artistry, and at the same time transfer its essential qualities to an immaterial and dynamically time-based version in VR. In the history of Chinese calligraphy, each evolution of the medium required different tools and therefore different body movements. This here is one of the earliest forms of Chinese writing, pictographic symbols known as oracle bone script from 3,000 years ago, over 3,000 years ago. Characters were chiseled out of turtle shells using a carving knife, which is punched by hammering motion, dok, 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 which is different from with the development of new tools and technology. Historic Chinese writing evolved, and here we see the evolution of the same character of water, 水, written in the 5 standard scripts of calligraphy, each with its distinctive stylistic differences, and requiring the arms to coordinate or perform in different ways, from a more controlled and symmetrical action of the seal script on the left, to a more spontaneous and fluid action of the drafting script on the right. This performance of the hand and arm is partnered by the four primary tools of calligraphy: the brush, ink, paper, and seal. The skill in writing calligraphy is, in essence, the fine choreography of the arm, hand, and finger muscles, resulting in a transfer of ink from the brush tip to the absorbent paper surface. In Chinese characters, there are long, short, vertical, horizontal, dot, curving, hooked, angular strokes, each requiring a different set of precisely controlled movements. The strokes combine to form characters, and part of the difficulty and also the beauty of this art is striving to achieve an optimal proportional balance in the character structure. In our research, there are no currently available VR controllers that support the fine motions and expressive qualities of calligraphy writing. So, this is our research question. Is it possible to preserve or transfer the artistic, philosophical, spiritual notions of calligraphy into a digital media? Within VR software today, there are many painting and sculpting apps for quite a few years. Whilst they are quite excellent applications for their intended purposes, their functionality don't align with the characteristics of calligraphy, where the primary concerns are the fluidity and expressiveness of individual written strokes. So, due to the lack of existing human-computer interfaces for this kind of expression, we developed a new system based on the hand-tracking functionalities of the MetaQuest. By using bare hands, our method is intuitive, as there is no physical tools to gain proficiency with. In order to transfer the nuances of calligraphy brush into VR, we developed a program to measure the distance between the thumb and the index finger. So a pinch would result in no ink, and pulled apart would result in a thick stroke, a lot of ink particles. A separate menu was scripted for the offhand using sliders to adjust other ink effects. First, we want to demonstrate one of the fundamentals of writing alignment, and thus structural continuity of the characters. Here we have the character Shi, the number 10, one of the simplest Chinese characters, from the front view. Both A and B read of the same character. However, from the side view, A is joined at the Z-axis and B is not. The two strokes are separated, thus from this angle, the version B is not legible as a single character. In the second example, curved Shi, curved 10, the aim was to write the same character sculpturally, as if imprinted onto a sphere. We found that writing in 3D requires a constant shift of view, as movement of the head and body are required to align and join multiple strokes, and the order of complexity is compounded for characters with an increasing number of strokes. Our next step is to write one character artistically within the discussed context of spirit, tools, and motion, with our determined ink effects, and testing a full range of body motion. This is our artwork for Hu, tiger. Similar to Shu, written by Master Law, we wanted to express a dynamic flow of writing with ink effects, an upright structural balance, and incorporate the playfulness of a tiger by this long, upturned tail of the last stroke. This character, Hu, is written at around 1.5 meters in terms of real-world height to test the applicability of a full range of body motion. It involves a carefully choreographed sequence of foot, body, hand, and head motions for this character to be written as intended. To illustrate, Hu is written in 3 strokes. For the first stroke, the writer has to first move the left leg forward to reach out for the first stroke. The left foot moves back, sweeping down for the second part. Returning to the standing position, we start the second stroke. And in anticipation of the third stroke, the right foot takes a big step behind, because we need to reach here, with the head tracking, also tracking the hand, all the way to the back of the stroke. Our writing of tiger required 88 attempts across 3 days before we achieved this satisfactory version. This was because we wanted to retain the same focus of writing as in traditional calligraphy, where each error would result in a complete restart of writing. We decided to do this to preserve the notions of dynamic ink, a fluid performance of body motions, within the linearity of time and mental focus, to try to maintain the artistry and spirit of calligraphy. In our writing of Tiger, we found that our considerations of precise body movements were similar to that of some performance arts. We want to point out the exemplary choreographies developed using calligraphy as inspiration by Shum dance arts in Connect Transfer. The dance routines incorporate ink applied to the hands and feet with paper laid out across the floor. Body movements are reflected visually as ink splatters on the paper. Forsyth and De La Junta actively seek to make the value of dance available without the body. Synchronous objects for one flat thing reproduced is an excellent example of how a dance routine can be systematically broken down into easily understandable diagrams. Learning from these artists, we can similarly consider an analysis of our own experiments to better visualize this symbiosis of movement and calligraphic artistry, together within the immersive intimacy of VR. By doing so, we hope to reveal a deeper understanding between the choreography, body forces, and the written calligraphic forms together as a real-time performance. Having previously pursued a harmonious writing of Tiger, we wanted to test how the same toolset could be used in a contrasting way. Thus, we wrote curse. They curse me, hence I curse them, inspired by a famous phrase by calligrapher Qi Baishi. This was written during a period of lockdown to express the frustration of the times. Here we replaced traditional black ink with neon pink against a night sky. The carefully balanced proportions of Tiger were disregarded. Here we wanted to convey expressions of rawness and chaos. Characters were written circularly around the writer. Hence, this work of multiple characters has no front angle and can only be read by moving around it or stepping into the center and encircling in full circle to look at the text. This experimental subversion of some of the more traditional values of calligraphy serves as a stepping stone for branching out into more unconventional calligraphy visualizations. Conclusions. The notion of undo, prevailing in most creative apps today, is very powerful, in essence giving the user control of time. However, this ability to erase materiality, undo, or to recreate it, redo, introduces disruption not just in time, but also interrupts the linearity of the creative process and thus the fluidity of motion and focus during writing. So in reflection of our VR calligraphy, undo is controversial. Traditionally, mistakes are non-erasable. So calligraphers write with such focus to prioritize expression as well as to not make mistakes. Our experiments here go against the practice of common creative digital apps by completely foregoing the implementation of undo. Only then would the writer, and I'm speaking from first-hand experience, have such concentration to resolve all the novelties and complexities of this performative calligraphy in real time, within the multiple dimensions of time and 3D space, together with the coordinated movements of every part of the body. Today, we hope to have demonstrated a version of Tishu body calligraphy that can be written using whole body movements as an experimental form of multidimensional and digital calligraphy, using a newly developed toolset that retains the spirit of calligraphy. Moving forward, we are currently working on refining this process of writing, visualizing it into diagrams, as well as presenting them as real matter physical sculptural works. In the future, we would like to test the possibilities of co-creative writing, or even larger performances of this calligraphy. To finish, we hope that our presentation of VR calligraphy has demonstrated a symbiosis between the art and performance of calligraphy, utilizing the technological potentiality of VR technology. To probe the possible evolutions of Chinese calligraphy as a contemporary continuation and as an extension of its cultural heritage. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.